Hi there, it's Mark Wickham here, Amazon #1 best-selling author of Effective Pricing for Accountants. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can price annual accounts so that you get better prices and make more money. I'm going to show you 3 tips. The first idea is, one of the things I strongly recommend is you get a professional looking brochure. And there are a couple of reasons for that. It could look something like this when you get it designed. This is a very professional brochure that you can use to show your clients exactly what they get as part of annual accounts. And the reason for doing that is partly because it's more professional. It's one of the 4 P's of marketing, packaging. When we package things nicely, people will see it as being better quality than the other firm down the road, and they will expect to pay you higher prices. There's another reason for having a brochure, and that is because one of the things that as a profession we're not very good at, accountants and bookkeepers and tax providers, we are not very good at communicating, explaining to the client the benefit to them, the value to them. And that's one of the reasons why there is always downward fee pressure on compliance work, whether that's bookkeeping, annual accounts, tax compliance. Downward fee pressure because the client doesn't understand the benefit. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that we have a system in place to explain fully everything you do, in this case as part of a set of accounts. So for example, one of the things that you would want to make sure is you describe what you do when you do a set of accounts, because most people don't know. We're accountants, yes, we know what's in a set of accounts, but for most business owners, they have no idea what happens. They drop their records off with us, and a few weeks or months later, they get a few sheets of paper and have no idea what work's gone into that. So we have to explain in detail what we do. And what we have to do as part of that explanation, we have to communicate the benefit to the client. It's what marketers call turning features into benefits. So let me give you an example. In the UK, when we do a set of accounts, we will reconcile the VAT accounts, the VAT control account. So what we should do is not only do we tell the client that, we tell them why we do it. And so here's some language that we could use. We could say to the client, what we'll do is we'll reconcile your VAT accounts to make sure that you've claimed every single penny of input VAT you're entitled to. And also to make sure that you've not overpaid any output VAT. What we'll also do is we'll check your VAT to see if there's a better scheme that will help you save money. And we'll also make sure that you've paid across the correct amounts of tax so that you can sleep at night knowing that you have got less risk of penalties and interest. So you can see there's 4 benefits there of dealing with the VAT, and I guess if you're in the US or Australia, GST works very, very similar. There are benefits of what we do, and we have to tell the client those things because they don't understand otherwise. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I suggest you do when you price your annual accounts is make sure that you explain the basis on which you price. And we can explain this in a way that positions us as being different, as being fair. Now, if you've watched my videos, you'll know that I'm a big believer that time-based billing, the old way of pricing, is not appropriate for the accounting profession. We have to move towards value pricing. And so the way I would describe it to the client, if the client says, so what's it going to cost? You should tell them how you price. And so here's some suggested wording you might want to use. You might say to the client, John, the way that we price is a system that puts you fully in control. In other words, our clients have told us that they hate the way the accounting profession prices. Pricing based on how long the work takes, which means you have absolutely no idea what the cost is until the work is finished. We hate it too, we think it's unfair. So what we do is we offer you a range of fixed price solutions so that you can budget and plan. And you choose the option and build your own packages to best suit your needs. Now when you say it like that, the client, let's say the client is called John, John's going to be thinking, yeah, that doesn't seem fair at all, which we know it doesn't seem fair. We know from research that business owners, clients hate the old-fashioned way of pricing based on how long the job takes. And that's their perception of the accounting and bookkeeping professions. So we should explain that the reason we think it's unfair, that we hate it, because they will then suddenly think to themselves, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, I like what this accountant's saying, I like this better way of pricing, it seems fairer. And then by giving them both a fixed price and a range of options and choices, again, that's what customers love. They love to be able to be in control of the process. So that's the second thing. So we've got so far, you should have a professional brochure. Secondly, you should make sure you communicate the way that you price. And then thirdly, the third idea I want to share with you in this video is involve the client in the pricing process. Because once you've gone through your professional looking brochure, and once they've seen and understood the value of what you do, eventually they're going to want to know what the price is going to be. And the worst thing that you can do is say something like this. Do you know, John, I'll have to go away and think about it because it depends on so many things, how long the job's going to take. Let me go away and think about it and I'll send a proposal through the post. That is a fatal mistake. And the reason for that is very simple. It doesn't matter how great your proposal is, it could be a great big thick document. When somebody gets a proposal through the post or by email, they always go straight to the price because that's the thing they're most interested in. And you've lost control at that point in time. They will go to the price, and if that price is more than they're expecting, they may choose not to read the rest of your proposal, and you may never hear from them again. So if you send out price through the post via email, you've lost control. You have to give a price in a meeting with the client. That's how you get the best prices. And what you want to do is involve the client in the process. And so I strongly recommend the only way to get the best prices is to use a software process, because software enables you to come up with a unique price based on that client's circumstances. Also, when you use software to price, you have complete transparency. The client can see how the numbers are building up. The client feels in control. Research suggests and shows that if the client's in control, they end up spending more money because they end up putting more things in the basket. And if the price comes up too high, there are things that you can do, changes you can make in front of the client to change the package until it gets to a price that they're willing and able to spend. In the case of annual accounts, there are many things that will determine the price of annual accounts. For example, how big is the client? What's their annual turnover? For example, what's the quality of their books and records? Do they reconcile their bank account? What about their trading entity? Are they a sole trader? Are they a partnership? Are they a limited company? All these things will influence and impact on the amount of work you've got to do and the price. And I don't know any other way to do that effectively other than through software. So there's my 3 key thoughts for you on how you price annual accounts. Now this is a piece of software called Cloud Pricing. It's a software tool that I created recently, and if you've already got the software, then make sure you've got a copy of the user guide, because in the user guide it tells you how to use the software, including videos going into much greater detail on how to price annual accounts. So have fun with that, have fun pricing your accounts in a more effective, more profitable way, and I'll see you on another video. Bye for now.